How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, RuffledRowlit, with a brand new video, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about some rumor stuff. Yes, we got rumors to talk about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be repeating a rumor today, which we talked about yesterday. So, if you did miss our video from yesterday, our rumor video, which a lot of people didn't see, we're going to kind of go over it again today, because more people have been picking it up here and, like, talking about it. I'm looking here, like, even Jungle picked it up and is talking about it, which is really weird, because I mean, I covered it and I said, like, oh, it sounds cool and all, and it's, like, different, but I don't really see how people are believing this new rumor is the more realistic one than all the other ones we've seen. I don't know, but I want to talk about that, and also I want to talk about this weird filter thing that seemingly exists within Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I think is worthwhile talking about, because a lot of people don't seem to be paying attention to it. So let's start with the rumor itself first, which we already kind of read, but let's reread it, basically. If you want to just read it on your own, and I'm going to leave a link down to Pokejungle's website, you can read it yourself there. But let's get into the actual stuff here, though. So, starting from the top here, rumors feuding teams in Sword and Shield. We've already talked about this. We already mentioned this yesterday, and I talked about how I think that's actually a really cool concept of having different teams you can join, like, oh, Team Sword and Team Shield, which are, like, you know, competitive teams that are against each other, and you can join one and try to take on the kind of, like, you know, like the more evil-esque team of the options, right? But here's basically what he says, though, is remember, rumors are not meant to be taken as confirmation information, simply as starting places for discussion. This rumor in particular is highly suspect and serves as an interesting idea, but please do not place any faith in it. And I already said yesterday, guys, it's a cool rumor, and I even said, like, it has some interesting new things to say and suggest, but there was so many discrepancies in it, and I'll go through the discrepancies again today and talk about them, and then, yeah, we'll get down to it, you know what I mean? So an anonymous 4chan poster had this to say about the upcoming games. Cover art features the wolf legendaries in each of its two forms, depending on the version. In the background, a larger Pokemon shadow looms over it. A winged beast shaped in a sword, a dragon, a humanoid shape with one eye, in Shield, a Cyclops. Which I already said, like, it seems a little bit odd to bring up a Cyclops, which when we already have, like, Melmetal, which is, technically speaking, somewhat of a Cyclops when you think about it, right? And a dragon does make sense, but it just seems so off right here, the way they point this out. To seem very cliche and not really unique. Next thing here is new battle mechanic based on distance. Sky battles return, marine battles for Pokemon that can breed on the water. Diving returns, but underwater battles / encounters require marine Pokemon. We already talked about this again yesterday. I think the concept of, like, marine battles sounds interesting, though I wonder how that's going to work. And also diving would be fantastic to return. I just recently played through Pokemon Ruby again, and the feeling of, like, playing through that game and being able to dive again was freaking fantastic. So having that in a brand new Pokemon game would be just incredible, in my opinion. So next thing here, though, is Galar is known for many of its native Pokemon having branch evolutions. Around 40 Galar species evolve differently depending on what version you own. New branch evolutions for older Pokemon include Johto starters, one of which you receive from Elm, who has come to study Galar's mysterious effects on evolutions. So this is the part that I glossed over this. I think I must have missed this yesterday, because I didn't see this aspect, and I must have probably just skipped past it when I was reading, but, like, I read the rest of the stuff down here about the fairy gym and going to a different island. I read that, but I think I glossed over this too much. So Galar is known for many of its native Pokemon having branch evolutions. Around 40 Galar species evolve differently depending on what game version you own. New branch evolutions for all the Pokemon include Johto starters, one of which you receive from Elm, who has come to study Galar's mysterious effect on evolution. Which, this actually is a really cool concept now that I think about it, because I didn't think about it yesterday when I talked about this in my video. I really didn't, like, look into that aspect of it. I was more talking about, like, the aspect of like the diving battles and specifically, like, the evil teams down here, or, like, rather how there is no evil team, but rather there's, like, feuding teams against each other, or, like, you know, rival teams that go against each other, and how that's very similar to how in the UK there are football teams that are very much against each other, you know, and constantly, like, clash. So the concept of having around 40 Galar species evolve differently depending on what version you own is definitely a cool concept. Now the question, though, is, it says Galar species, so does that imply that, is that, like, specifically talking about, like, Galar species as in Galar Pokemon, or just, like, those Pokemon from other generations within that region having different, like, you know, forms of branch evolutions? I assume it's, like, specifically Galar Pokemon, right? Because it's around 40 Galar species evolve differently depending on what version you own. So I guess that would be the actual Pokemon within the region itself, brand new ones. The next thing he says here is that new branch evolutions for older Pokemon, including Johto starters, which would be cool to see, because the Johto starters haven't gotten any love, man. Like, they haven't gotten Megas, they haven't gotten Alolan forms, they haven't gotten anything really major done to them. So seeing them get, like, you know, separate evolution lines would be really cool. Even though I love the final evolutions of all the starters in Johto, you know what I mean? Like Typhlosion is my favorite, like, final start evolution ever. I love it so much. and like and a Feraligatr is like so freaking cool as well. We won't talk about the grass type because well, it's cool, but you know. So like the point I'm trying to get to, okay, is that in all fairness, like this actually would be sick for them to do for the Johto starters as a way to kind of like expand on them and give them more love. But the question is it real or not? And so he also mentions here that Elm has returned and has come to study Galar's mysterious effects on evolution, which would be cool to see Professor Elm in like 3D return and like do his thing. That would be really, really freaking cool, as we haven't really seen the man since like what, Heart Gold Soul Silver, I think. I can't remember if we've seen him anywhere in between here. So it'd be nice to see him return. This new feature encourages trading, but you can also obtain the alternate evolution in a post-game safari area located on the island to the right of Galar, accessible via ferry from the Water Gym City. The island also has the Battle Frontier. Also has the and Battle Frontier, so it's a little bit misspelled there, like I read when I read it yesterday. A little bit misspelled, but the Battle Frontier, like being mentioned, like it just feels like the Battle Frontier will never return. So whenever it is mentioned, I'm starting to like, I'm starting to imagine in my head that it's never gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like whenever I see it now, it's just kind of added there as kind of like a wish thing. You know what I mean? Like it's part of a wish list of things we want to see, but it's never actually gonna be there. So it's just kind of like, a little bit iffy whenever I see it pop up in a list. It just feels like it's never actually gonna be there. So it is what it is, though. Now, next thing here is strong Pokemon trainers in Galar are invited to join the official league teams and compete in team battles at the gym stadiums. Now, I talked about this yesterday about how this is very similar to what they kind of like, how real teams work in football, and how you end up having rivalries between the strongest teams, right? For example, right, what I mentioned here is that the two highest ranked teams are Team Sword and Team Shield. The top ranked teams will ask you ask your rival to join them, and the second ranked team in Sword and Shield Sword and Shield and Shield will ask you to join them. You eventually agree as a favor to the Galar champion so that you can investigate the top ranked team. Now, this is really cool, and I also think this would be sick and explain why we have a uniform, like a, when we go into the gyms, if you've seen in the trailer, we have like a Galar, like a football uniform almost, like, a sports uniform. It really looks like a football uniform, I'm gonna be honest. And I talk about European football, not American football. And it's like, it genuinely looks like he's, meant to be part of a team. So it actually makes sense if in the gyms, we're meant to be part of a team when we take on the gyms, rather than taking it on our own. We're there taking it on alongside our team. And, we gotta, that would be really sick if they went down that path. I'd love that. So that's really cool. Technically, there is no evil team in the game, but the top ranked team are arrogant and are your main opponents. They have an evil captain and a manager with much more sinister plans. They require his team to stay on top to make money from sponsorships, which this is the part where, again, I start to think this is, like, fake, and why I'm surprised so many people picked this one up, because, like, honestly, this just doesn't sound like... I don't think they'd, like, really go into the aspect of sponsorships and, that sort of stuff within Pokemon. Like, it just seems very odd of a thing to do in a children's game like this, so I don't know. But, I mean, hey, they've done crazier stuff, so who am I to say? But yeah, so that's the general gist of it, though. If you guys want to read through the rest of it on your own, you can do that. But I just want to kind of, generally speaking, break down through it or go through it, because there's really not much else I can really say about it besides really that. So that's, like, just about it, though. But yeah, for the general gist, though, I will probably say that this is an interesting rumor, but most likely fake. So yeah, I already talked about this one yesterday, guys, so it's really not much else I can say about it. If you guys, like, want to say anything else about it, feel free to do so in the comment section down below. I want to say this, though. The branching evolution lines is my favorite part about this. I think, personally, the branching, like, evolution lines would be sick, because it would be so cool to see how a Pokemon could look like if it didn't evolve into what we already know it evolves into. Like, for example, imagine, instead of getting Feraligatr, we get, like, a Feraligatr that looks totally different, or it doesn't even get called Feraligatr anymore. It evolves into a Buchuku, you know what I mean? And Buchuku is a Mad Lad, okay? You know what I mean? My point is, like, it'd be really cool to see where they can go with their, with this sort of thing. This would actually be one of the coolest concepts they can work around with. So definitely something I'm intrigued by. Now, next thing on the agenda, though, is going to be this right here. So I want to kind of quickly mention this, as I honestly am kind of surprised that this is a thing. So if you look in the trailer of the games, and it's also, this is supposed to be Technical Rookie, if you look at the trailers of the games, on the final game though, you can see there's a kind of pink filter on the game, and I want to ask you guys, do you like this filter, or wait, not on or not? And he basically made a version here where the filter's on. So here's how the game looks like with the filter on, and here's how it looks like normally. So this is not from this image right here, is the edited one. This one right here is from the trailer. See what I mean? Like, it's kind of pinkish, like a pinkish filter. Here, the filter is removed, and it's just kind of like vibrant, normal colors. And I personally gotta say, I like the more vibrant, normal colors rather than this filter. Not that I hate this filter. It's just that it makes it feel a bit more washed out, almost, you know what I mean? Like, colors feel more washed out. Like, this feels way more natural, you know what I mean? Like, if you just jump between these, this feels far more natural. Except this isn't in the trailer, but then again, the gameplay footage is not final, and also the footage we saw could have been specifically edited to look like this, you know, with this filter, so you could probably, I mean, who knows? Maybe it won't be there when the final game comes out, who knows? But, really strange though. I did notice this filter, and I was like, you know, when I saw the trailer, I was like, it does seem a little bit gloomy, doesn't it? But then when you look at like this, and like look at the vibrancy, dude, in the trees. They look so much. Everything just looks so much better like this. Like with the filter on, it just feels more washed out. Without the filter on, it looks fantastic. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Personally, I would prefer it without the filter on, as I think it would be just look way better in my personal opinion. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the general gist of it though, guys. If you did enjoy this rumor video, drop a like down below. Make sure to check out our other videos as well, guys. I'm putting out a lot of content now that's just not rumors and that sort of stuff, just a bunch of other content. Make sure to check it out. Either way, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen, and bye-bye.